Proxy Table Gaming fans, PTG, Hyper-G, and Lucky Sixes are here once again.
Hey, folks.
Hi.
Hi. You okay?
And I'm all right. I'm actually really good. I've started this week feeling really good.
Good.
So it can only go downhill from here.
Yes.
So that's the problem. So round 5. It's Out of War round 5. It feels like a long time ago.
Yeah.
Kind of was. But
yeah. Nearly, I think it might be more than 2 months ago, actually, at this point.
Yeah,
but
it's nearly time for next Out of War, to be fair.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have got Ogres. So a matchup.
Ogres again.
As a matchup, I'm not too bad with. I think overall Warriors do all right against Ogres. And John Turner, who I've played a few times now, excited to play.
I've never played John, actually. No, so
yeah, he's seasoned ETZ and tournament veteran, so knows his stuff. So
definitely
good to go. And I'm on 45 points, I think, currently. So you never know. A big win might put me top 10 or even further. So hoping to see if I can press a big win, or at least get a small win to put me sort of top 15, top third of the tournament. So which I would be happy with.
All to play for.
As we know, Triple Envy, Double Herald. It's simple.
I love that you can tell folks about your list in 2 sentences.
Yep. That's it. And we've got the Wrath Warriors in there. John Turner's list. It was an interesting. There was lots of things I've not seen too much before. Triple giant, a couple of trappers, and triple scrappling bow.
That's really cool. I like that.
Yeah, which was really interesting to see those in the mix. I wasn't overall too worried. The Troll Stew Cauldron, I think, is something to do with a breath weapon on the giants as well, so that's interesting to see. But I wasn't too worried about those things. Obviously, the 8 Merc Vets and 9 Bruisers with the
they're your main hitting.
With the Shamans and Calms in are going to be the tricky ones. But I'm hoping if I can isolate them as much, get the other things, I should be on for a good one, and maybe we'll get a counter charge into one of them. Is the plan. Game 5 Long March Home, so is a type of King of the Hill style. It's marching columns, and it's King of the Hill in the sense that after you've deployed, I think, once a player has deployed all his units, he can say where he's going. He sort of picks a point, and you've got to get to that point.
Yeah, it's kind of like a secure target, but you've got to get to it, and it's got to be in the opponent's deployment zone. So
so there's that. So I think I dropped for first, and we'll see later on.
How many times did you get marching columns wrong? Because I know in my round 5, I was reminded at least once.
So we went from left to right mostly.
Okay.
And I put my.
If you drop for first, it's a bit easier because you kind of like just deploy anywhere and say you did it in the right order.
Yeah. Actually, I think it was the other way around. I think he went from left and I went from right. So which
doesn't have to be the case. You can technically go the same way.
So he put giant, the 2 scraplings, and then giant. And I put the Chosen Knights, Flayers, going from right to left. Chosen Knights, Flayers.
That's cool. It's using lead belchers as scraplings. I like that.
Yeah, and I think because I put my stuff, my things over on the right, he deployed like mostly on the left, and we were sort of going from either side. The Bombardiers, the Bombardier scraplings. 2 on the left, 1 on the right, and I was there was a lot of chat about the trappers because I didn't know too much about that and what they would do and being on
dangerous terrain in the terrain pieces basically.
And it's all basically the whole unit takes it if one thing goes in it. It's a weird one. So they're like a better.
They're really good.
Yeah,
I really like them. I really like them as a class.
There was that to think about at least. I went first and I moved up pretty aggressively. It has to be said. Trying to keep my chaff back for when I need it against those 2 big units in the middle. But looking at it, Yeah, I was with my Herald and Chosen Knights on the left hand side. I was pretty sure they could take all of that on the left.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if a giant spikes and goes mental, then you're in a bit of a problem. But otherwise, you can probably go through that.
Yeah, and I've got Grave Calls and Hellfire as well, which, as we know from your last battle, don't need line of sight.
Don't have to see the giants for that.
So I'm like, well, either he comes to me and I get some easy double charges on his units, or I just Hellfire and Grave Calls them for the rest of the game. And with his BSB over in the center away from the scrap bins, I thought there might be some panics and things like that going on. So I was pretty happy with just those two fighting off against their 4 units. I thought that was quite a good mix. In the middle, obviously, the big thing against ogres is you've got to stop them charging. And I was like, well, you know what?
The impact hits,
in the middle, there's not much that will get my chaff. There's a couple, I think he maybe had pyro. I forgot to look and stuff, but he took mostly buffs. Which you would with this type of
with ogres absolutely, it's the way to go.
So I was like, well, if I can save my chaff for the middle, have my Chosen Knights and Herald against those 4 units, and my Chosen Knights on the right, potentially with the Herald going over there to go against the other scraplings and the trappers and the giant, then everything else can focus on either just holding him up in the middle or actually going in. So I was pretty happy actually with everything up to this point and feeling pretty confident
that's
with
good.
everything that's going on, which is nice. I managed to get a Breath Corruption off on his 5 trappers as well, and thankfully they're not always reliable, but managed to kill them, so that was really good. That really helped me out in the chaff war. I think I killed a Flayer for that. And
I was wondering why the Flayer was standing on their bodies going
and that was it. In terms of his turn, he moves up slightly on the left, but not really too much. Stays everything on the right and moves up aggressively enough so that I haven't got easy charges with his man-eaters, who are the ones on the right.
Got some cool-looking giants.
Oh, mate, yeah, really good models. Really nice army. Really cool theme throughout. I quite like the Ogre models as a thing anyway. Quite diverse. Over here, he gets Break the Spirit off on them and chaff them up, so it would just be plinking away
to charging,
away on things, which is annoying. And that was it. On my turn, I put my Herald right up. I don't care.
No, not than the scraplings.
Yeah, so like I'm out of line of sight of both of the giants. I don't care even if they go into the flank, because I'll just munch 5 or 6 of them, or 4 or 5 of them, and then I'll stay in a grind and just grind them out. I also get Grave Calls though off and do 5 wounds on this giant, so pretty sure.
That's fantastic, yeah.
And kind of what I'm the diamond says that I'm also doing the -1
sacrifice,
the rerolls to wound, I think.
Oh, the Veil Walker thing.
Yeah.
So
no, it's just part. No. Yes, it is. It is part of the Veil Walker side that you get from Sorcerer Immortal.
Oh, of course. I was wondering who had Veil Walker, but that's part of the upgrade. Yeah, of course it is.
So happy enough with that, and happy enough that everything's.
Grave's Call is so good.
Go my way. This giant's down 1. My Chosen Knights might be able to take the other giant, so there's that. I get Smite the Unbeliever off on these trappers, and then use my Breath Weapon on them as well to kill them. So I'm doing pretty well on my chaff clearance.
I'm guessing he's out of line of sight.
Yes, he can't see me on that side. So I've moved him over to the side basically to handle this flank with my other Chosen Knights. So I've got Herald and Chosen Knights on each of the flank, and I'm hoping for just this standoff in the middle. Yeah,
and clear out the flanks and just see what happens in the middle.
As I said, they're out. I didn't charge with the Chosen Knights, just moved up and around.
Didn't need to in the end.
Yeah. And over here, I think this was a Breath Weapon as well. So they both had a Breath Weapon. I didn't do a picture of their things, actually, did I? But Fly and Breath Weapon to finish the giant off, which panicked.
That's really good.
One of the things. Scraplings. So I was super happy with how things were going.
This is going well, yeah.
And I was pleased that my deployment helped me out, and my magic was super good, and I just wanted to sort of, like I said, hold off in the center.
Yeah. She's using halflings as scraplings as well.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I
That's
also
really
moved up to sort of allow a double charge on this bruiser unit because I wasn't too, because I know them go second if I can get them off. So I chaffed them like so, which is the key photo of the battle.
Yeah.
And we will strap in, folks, because I need one of my like pointers, right?
Indeed.
Laser pen out. So in the center, I moved up to chaff both units with my flayers. I was pretty happy with that.
Looks good so far. Yeah.
And as you can see, he has now declared a charge with his bruisers on my warriors.
How is this possible? He is chaffed.
Yes.
Tell us.
So, the big consequence, and something that I could have avoided, my flayers are actually in his front, or he is in my front of my flayers. He's not in the flank.
You're talking about with the bruiser block?
With the Merc vets. With the bruisers, they're in the rear.
Who's who? Sorry, which one's which?
So the bruisers are on the left.
Right.
Merc vets are on the right.
Yeah.
I'm obviously hoping to chaff them both.
And it's flank front as opposed to...
The bruisers are in the rear. So
yeah,
like, well, if he charges into there, he hasn't got an overrun into my warriors, he'll just turn and have to turn a face, which is great.
Yeah, that's what you wanted.
And his Merc vets are in the front. Now, the issue I have with the Merc vets is that he cannot turn to get into my front because of that impassable terrain.
Yeah.
Which is huge, because A, I could have made it so that they were in my flank.
Yeah, and that would have been fine.
With literally half an inch movement.
Not a lot, yeah.
And B, because now he can't move to me, I have to move to him. Which opens up his bruisers to not be chaffed and have the easiest charge they're ever going to make into a unit of warriors.
Yeah.
Which sucks because impact hits is a massive thing at this point, especially as I've done.
Especially with warriors, yeah.
And all the banners that they get, rerolling ones and stuff like that.
Have they got Ungaiger, have they?
Yeah. So this sucks big time, and
big sweaty balls, that one.
Yeah. To make matters from this point, he charges his giant in as well, thinking there's not much else rather than just sort of sit around and die. He's going to actually do something.
Yeah, it's fair enough.
And this is how it ends up in the middle. So obviously you can see.
So there wasn't actually a charge with his Merc vets onto your chosen knights then.
No.
You had a charge token out there.
Yeah, it definitely chaffed up the Merc vets. Unfortunately for me,
he had to wheel around.
It's one of those rules that obviously it's because
easily forgotten.
And it is literally half an inch.
Just give them a different art.
And we'll go back because it's important. If I'd have turned to face the flayers slightly more towards my chosen knights, they would have been in the flank, and they can easily move forward into my flank and do it. They just can't.
No.
Physically, even if they move forward at that point, they can't physically touch my front. So there's I think they can just touch the corner because you have to be able to touch the corner first. So they can just wheel to touch the corner, but they can't then go even further. So it's one of them.
There is an argument that make sure things are an inch away from each other. But it's hard to tell from this picture whether they were or not.
Yeah, they're definitely an inch.
But obviously, there's a few.
What the big message here to all you folks is: double check your chaff and
the consequences. Think through the next turn.
So actually think: with this thing, is there any reason why this doesn't chaff both
units?
What I'm intending to chaff, and and really just give yourself a couple of minutes just to look through the things and stuff. And because if I'd have done that, I would have just gone, oh yeah, I just want to make sure you're in my flank and not my front. And as you can tell, it's millimeters from where the actual
it is
flank goes. I had assumed it was in the flank, and it wasn't. And at that point, I didn't say it's in the flank, so there's no reason why I'd then
checked it beforehand.
Say anything. So it's one of those super disappointing from my point of view. And I actually knew before his he declared this charge.
I
got to the end of my magic, and I was like,
I bet you were like, oh god, is that flank or not? I'm in trouble. I hope he
and I
didn't
didn't want to say
charge that
anything because
No.
just in case he decided not to.
It's tough
charge.
with a conga line cavalry unit as well, because obviously they're not lined up completely straight either, so it could have changed a millimeter here or there, and that might have made a difference, but who knows?
So suddenly I get super worried that this might do something.
It's exactly what you wanted to avoid.
The giant gets in as well.
That's fine.
I think it's fine, but you never, there's anxiety. If I don't kill him, he's got a lot of attacks at me. So there's that. These continue off the board at least. Don't
You'd
rally.
expect so. Yeah.
And this is the overall. And at this point, we'll sort of go through the objective as well. My objective to get to is top right. And I'll move us.
Okay, where your chosen knights are going.
So with the chosen knights on the top right, you can see that little scab fat marker.
And you're trying to get a scoring unit there, aren't you?
Yes, and his in the bottom left. Up to that last thing, I was very happy that he wasn't getting in.
So he's only got scraplings and bruises.
He's only got the scraplings were over there. I'd stop the scraplings. Another reason why the herald and thing over there was perfect for me. And with everything going on in the middle, I thought I'd be in his deployment zone, actually fighting him rather than him being there.
Getting an extra charge on you.
Annoyingly, because I didn't see the flare thing again until after my movement.
It's a long time before you can react to it. Yeah.
I'd move my dogs behind here to be extra chaff in case something went wrong. Mainly because I've got the 22-inch release of the dogs. To go over to the merc vets just to hold them up while I do everything
deal with
on
the bruises or
bruises.
whatever.
As you can see, the herald could have gone into the bruises as well as the warriors, which is why I put the warriors so high up. So moving the dogs there is the tiniest overrun into the dogs.
Are we genuinely fearing the warriors are going down in one turn then, are we?
Well, not necessarily going down in one turn,
he's got a magic
whether
phase.
They win is they could easily lose, and they're not. They wouldn't be steadfast.
When you add in impact hits as well, which he's now got.
I think if I lose, I'm unlikely to be steadfast in any regard. So I'll be on a test of sorts. There is an overrun, which would just get him so close. The overrun, it's not even. It's like catapulting him over towards that objective, and I'm like, that's really annoying. That's really annoying. So I was so annoyed at myself, but it was a good battle, and we were really enjoying it, and it was really tactical and fun to talk through this thing. And I said at the time it was going to make such a good battle report in terms of that, but unfortunately it was against me. So I couldn't help feeling quite bitter, but we carried on anyway. He got Smite the Unbeliever off on me and Awaken the Beast off on him. Just his magic setup is basically -1 to wound, -1 to wound, -1 to wound,
exactly.
-1 to wound. And it's tough.
What ogres can do.
Clears the chaff, which is fine, and he turns to face like so. I actually beat him in combat. I think 3 or 4 wounds to 1. And because I've got a banner, he runs and moves over there. His scrapling's actually past the panic.
So that flank has worked out nicely.
Yeah, everything's working out great over there. Not a problem at all. Unfortunately, and I mean, I did like 6 wounds overall, but just his impact and then going after me, I'm pretty sure he kills like 15 or 16, and it's just a massacre. Like if ogres charge, you're in trouble, and with all that magic off as well. I was probably did well to do 6 wounds, if I'm honest. And and needed an 8, got in. And this is on.
They have the Swift Stride banner or the Going Get banner.
They might even have had both.
They might have had both,
with the BSB, I can't remember. But it's not a good situation to be in for me. Over to my turn, and my flayers chaff the Merc Vets, and I go full pelt over on the right hand side, charging the
secure that objective.
Charging the scraplings, Needing a 10 again, but NV got me there, so that was pretty good.
That's good.
I
There's
know
a giant over there, but
there is a giant, but I've already dispatched the giant with Chosen Knight,
yeah.
so I'm not too worried about that. My Herald comes over as well to maybe do some wounds to him and to scare him off. And my other Chosen Knights go, well, you know what? We're just going to run for that objective and see if I get 2 over there.
Double
so
it up.
That,
You definitely can't get it back.
So at least there's a backup plan, but I'm still really, really annoyed that unit will get towards the objective.
I think I might have come over and checked how you were, or bought you a drink or something at this point. I think I got the aftermath directly, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Over to this is obviously after the dogs, and he hasn't overrun. He's actually turned, because what happened on my turn is I charged both into the scraplings to get rid of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And killed them. I think pretty much to a man, actually, with everything going in. And stayed there, not seeing that if he just turns around,
he can charge and do a little speed bump job.
He has a nice overrun.
Oh, because you were just so convinced he was going to go to get 1 on the objective.
I was. So this was really good play from John, and this is a really good thing.
That's why he's a good player. Yeah.
And from my point of view, there's no reason that the Herald had to be there whatsoever.
No, not at all.
I could have just done the Chosen Knights with that. So that is definitely the second mistake of the thing.
Sure,
sure. But it still needs like a 6, so he might not get it. I think it is on Swift Ride though. I obviously kill them, and I think I go off the board because I don't need to be on the board just now.
No.
Unfortunately, he gets in.
I could see that happening, yeah.
And just compounds the misery for me in terms
this
of
has changed on
how
a dime,
much
hasn't it? Yeah.
One mistake has really allowed. I mean, they've travelled. These guys have travelled.
Yeah, they're literally gone.
And I'm not excited to see this combat.
Herald's not holding up to
even
that.
Without magic, I'm not excited for this.
Yeah.
He obviously goes into the chaff and moves his giant away, so at least I've got that going for me.
Yeah.
He kills the guy with magic help. I think I supernaled. I think I only lost 2 wounds. To everything, and I maybe did 1 or 2 to him. But just supernal, didn't pass the check, died.
If he's got rank BSB standard, then that's already helping.
Yeah, and he overruns, and that's not good. Onto my turn. I get both of these over here. I get my Chosen Knights to be as far away as humanly possible.
While still in the objective zone.
Yeah, so I think he's got an 11 potential charge.
Okay, but they wouldn't have. Oh, did they come with Swift Stride?
I'm not sure. I can't remember. Yeah, there is a thing. Go back to the army list. I guess it's in there. And my Herald comes round to say, well, if you do charge and get a thing, I'm going to charge you to keep you away from my Chosen Knights, basically.
Yeah.
So we'll see. And if he charges me with his giant, then happy days. Over here, just showing a picture of.
It's only going one way over there. I'm afraid.
Horrible situation. And this is like turn 4. So if he kills me now, he does actually even now have time to turn around and get to the objective within 6 inches of it. And it's
it's crucial you get both Chosen Knights near his objective. Then,
yeah, it's just so, and it's like by an inch, right? So it just everything has happened. He's gone right down. He's zigzagged up, and he's going to zigzag down again. And it's like, oh my goodness, how just look after your chaff. As you can
look after them, and they will look after you.
Yeah, him. He's got 1 more turn to go after this, and obviously movement 12 can get within 6, so that's not a problem for him. Over here, he decides not to charge and just moves up like so that I can't get turn and get out of line of sight, and I'll have to do something. Moves his giant up there as well. Again, not too bothered about the giant being there. Over here, I move up with my Herald behind and to get some breath corruption, thinking, well, he's going to go one way, so I think I can draw the objective if I just keep everything behind. I'm not sure why my Herald didn't go in front of the giant.
Sure, to chaff that as well.
Not sure.
Breath of corruption?
Well, it was to get breath corruption to get them down, but obviously I'm not going to do enough. Even if I get grave calls and breath of corruption, I don't think I'm doing enough to the man-eaters to stop anything. So I wasn't. Perhaps I was just a bit overwhelmed by what was happening. Is what I think. It's the end of the tournament, and
Lavender haze.
I've got one turn to go. Basically, turning around just to face so that his money is probably going to go against the Chosen Knights. It is still failable, but not by much. And the other Chosen Knights just not leaving anything easy for them and staying as they are. So.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I like that he's moved a bombardier up to the top of the impasse.
Yeah. He gets in, so he makes the maybe 4 that he needed, which is going to spell the end of those Chosen Knights. He moves them up over here, and his giant gets in to my flank, which is I'm not too bothered. I know I won't necessarily kill him. I think he's got 1 or 2 wounds on him, but I'm not expecting to lose or anything there. So. The only thing I've got going for me is maybe the Chosen Knights against the Man-Eaters might not die.
No.
We go into magic and he gets a few bits of magic off. Break the spirit and all that jazz. And then...
Oh, geez, what?
The giant.
That's not what we were expecting.
The giant genuinely does 6 wounds to me out of like his 7 attacks.
Did you have to leave a flank for him?
No.
And
that's the objective. Would have drawn me objective at least.
Yeah, even with 1-1. Yeah.
And like I said, there's no reason why the Herald couldn't have just chaffed him.
Yeah.
And stopped this chance even happening. So this was bad play, and then like I said, I think I was just, my goodness, what's going on?
Yeah.
The
Modems weren't going to mess around.
No. It is what it is, and how that turned.
Yeah, because you had both flanks, and you were ready to just take your time in the middle.
Insane to me. Arguably, even without the chaffing mistake on my part, I perhaps shouldn't
have
gone
a few things
so aggressively with the Warriors.
To leave the 8 overrun into the Warhounds to give him an extra slingshot.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see it. So in my eyes, moving the Warriors to there, they weren't ever getting charged by anything.
Yeah, sure.
So it's hard to then say that I shouldn't have done it because that would be the right move if I'd got my chaff right. I think. Because if I'm charging the bruisers, like it stops all the impact hits and it's on my turn, so I can get my magic off. I think, and I might even have Herald in the flank as well. So it's hard to say that was moving the Warriors was a mistake, but in the grand scheme of things, getting my chaff wrong, obviously it was. The dogs behind exactly the same. My plan was to charge the Warriors into the bruisers and then chaff the Merc vets with the dogs.
Yeah.
So that's a tough one to say, but the chaffing for sure. Not seeing his bruisers once they've done the overruns turn to face my Herald is another one, and then finally having my Herald not chaff this giant. It was a long shot that he would break the Chosen Knights, but even to give him the chance at this stage of the game, this was a bit silly. So definitely things I could have done to change this. And honestly, if I get my chaff right in the middle, I think it's a big win for me.
It was going that way. It was going really well up until that point.
I would have had the objective, and I would have got probably at least 2 giants and 3 scraplings.
And maybe you would have had enough to take on one of his big units with all the chaff you had left. Yeah.
So I was happy with my play apart from the chaff. The other bits are a bit annoying, but I was so in control of this, and for it to go so wrong was really disappointing from my part. John played really well, and it was a really nice, fun game. It was. We had a good chat, and it's always.
He consoled you.
Yeah, we said to each other, we got each other in round 5 draw, and we were like, at least it would be a nice end to the tournament because we played each other a few times now. And it's just a good fun one, a good bit of chat and tactical, super tactical.
Yeah. Does it make you think that maybe, although flayers give you the opportunity, and any like cavalry, they give you the opportunities to double chaff 2 units, does it make you think maybe don't always do that? I mean, The issue with this one was it was adjustable by half.
I mean, doing that I overstretched myself, right, in trying to do too many things at one time
with one chaff unit.
And I'm not as a player. I know I'm not one that will really take a look at everything and sit down. I'll go on instinct more than anything. So
yeah, sure.
So it's learning to really, as I said at the time, like to really look at that chaff move and as a integral part of the battle as a whole, and say, look, make sure you get that, because after that was on my turn. I want to say 2. It might have been 3.
I think 2.
Yeah. But so another argument is to completely back off in the middle and still keep your 3 chaff for a later turn to do it like that. And that's
when he comes
I'm trying to do actually outside of Outer War is actually something I'm trying to hold off on a bit until later turn, so that if it goes wrong, it doesn't backfire like this. Because there's still so much more of the battle to actually have. That doing it so early on was great, and we could make a big wing early on, but it could also give him time to recover. So there's things there's definitely different plays, and it just didn't work out for me in the end.
So what did you end up with? Did you get some points in the end?
So I lost the objective. I did get some points, so it wasn't a 20. However, it was an 18-2, and
yeah, sure.
Yeah, it just. I was just losing I just lost everything.
Sure.
It was a bit. I was a bit sad about how I've made the mistakes, but it didn't affect the battle, and we had a good one. And cheers, Sean, for the game. Ended up only on 47 points, so slightly below par. Below par in terms of the overall rankings as well, and so
the hope was dashed in the end.
But, disappointed in terms of overall result. However, this list kind of has legs in terms of the punching power it has, the reach for sure. I'm not sure envy is the best thing, because there's very rarely that. It's very rare that you're gonna be constantly affected by envy. You might get it one turn in a game where they leave you a 10 or 11, and actually it's 50% going in. So it leads to very, very risky stuff. But it's not going to be every single turn where your envy puts you in favour. I think we've alluded to it before. I think the Warriors really need combat buffs, especially within this list where there's not that many buffs to be had in Magic.
No, you've only got, 4 spells?
Yeah, and 2 of them at least are going to be Grave Calls and and Hellfire. So, I would try and stick in a Apprentice or Adept. I think probably losing the Dogs for that, or one of the Flayers. But yeah, otherwise it does have lists. I probably would change the other argument is whether to go 2 lots of 5 Chosen Knights or 3 lots of 4. I didn't mind the 3 lots of 4. It was quite big in terms of board space and size sort of thing. So 2 lots of 5 is something to explore, and then probably going a combat buff, either Greed or Wrath seems nice. Pride wouldn't be too bad, actually.
I don't really like the fact that you've got 3 big units. I'd prefer you had 2, but that's because I prefer even numbers. So,
that's the OCD side. The Warriors did all right, but they got mashed up in that last battle, and a few times you've got to look after the Warriors a bit better than I did throughout this tournament.
Yeah, there's certain combats that they can be bettered on.
And again, Magic support can always help with that. So maybe an Evo or someone, or maybe Alchemy in there as well. But
it's usually your go-to with Warriors, to be fair. Evo and Alchemy.
So one of those just to help the Heralds. But the Heralds were really good and give you a lot of maneuverability, a lot of tools as well.
And they both survived this battle.
They both survived.
No, they didn't.
Oh, one of them survived.
No, the Bruisers caught up with one.
It's a lot of points though for something that pretends to be combatty.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know.
Legacy-wise, yes.
Yeah. So I liked using them. They were really fun to use. Movement and spell-wise, with a bit of extra support, they're great. All the manifestations are really super variable and adaptive to the battles, which is really helpful and can really help you they can really make a difference. I would genuinely... I talked a lot to Craig Johnson actually about it, because this is his style of maneuvering about and things like that, and we kind of
so rubbish then.
Yeah, kind of agreed. Only in my hands. Kind of agreed that the breath weapon and one of them to have Sorcerer Immortal would be your best bet. Probably Smite. The setup I had for this, but there are setups where you can't take those things. So really, I definitely recommend this sort of type of list. And I guess off the back of this, I don't try a similar thing. I don't actually play the Herald with Warriors. We went to a night bus, which was interesting. A night spam for Warriors. So trying that as well. But yeah, to anybody looking at this list and wanting to try it, I'd definitely suggest it. Flayers are really integral as well, where possible.
They're massive part of the list, yeah.
And yeah, make a few tweaks to it. So maybe a combat buff, your personal choice, whether 3 or 2 Envy Knights, and in terms of the Heralds, just give them a bit of extra support in terms of magic, and they're pretty golden.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Awesome.
Let us know.
Give us some comments.
I'm not going to say let us know what you would do in this situation, because I think it's pretty clear. Just get things, just be better.
Yeah, your plan would have ended up very different.
And I was happy with my plan. But what I will say is, anybody had share with us any stories that you've had where you thought everything was going well, and it just turned.
Every 0-20 story could be on,
So let us know if you've had any of those moments where it was going super comfortable, and then something you did or something your opponent did, whether it be a rules thing or just a stupid mistake or an amazing move happened, and it turned from a 20-0 to a 0-20. That's what we want to hear off the back of this.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And also
40-point swing.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? John got in the top 10 as well with this, we were right in thinking that a big win would take us into the top 10, which is cool. So shows what could have been almost.
And you finish on 47, which interestingly, with me sitting on 33, gave me a lifeline to leave.
Catchable, right?
Catchable. We didn't do the 2 battle report mirror match thing like we did last year at Art War, mainly because we both had full length battles in round 5. Not a spoiler. And so
with a middle to big win,
catch you up.
You can catch me up and even keep going forward. So
right the wrongs of you beating me by a point last year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you finished 8th last year, I finished 9th by 1 point.
Disappointed in terms of points and overall score, but I wasn't disappointed with how the army performed and could have performed and stuff like that on review. So it was good. If anybody has any questions about the list and what change and stuff, put it in the comments as well. A few people have already tagged me in the forum and stuff like that, which is cool. So if you wanted to go that way, you can as well. But yeah, really enjoyed the list. I'd definitely play it again, although we are moving on to different things for ETC, so which we'll probably talk about in the future.
Sounds good. So into round 5 then. Catch me up and finish this tournament.
Yes.
What a good one it's been.
Excited to see.
We'll see you in round 5 then, folks.
See you later.
Round 5.
See you later.